Alright, let's face it, Nintendo is the GOAT of gaming. And just in case you don't know what being a GOAT means, it means you're the best out of anything. Now, I know some of you are going to roll your eyes when I say this, because it's not entirely true. Nintendo games don't have the incredible storytelling and cinematic feeling that God of War does. And as of right now, their hardware system is quite outdated, when you compare to how amazing Ghost of Tsushima looks on PS5. And you know what, okay, their lawsuit against Yuzu was pretty lame. But let's look at their selection of video games, just how they are. It's been 6 years since Mario Odyssey came out, and I haven't felt a game feel as smooth, except for Bowser's Fury, which released almost 3 years ago, which is also made by Nintendo. Their gaming mechanics remain untouched, and I've never felt a console besides Nintendo feel as good. But I'm not here to totally fan out about Nintendo. I'm here to talk about something amazing that has been done by Nintendo recently. And no, I'm not talking about Yuzu, alright? It relates to their bosses. To all my Mario Galaxy players out there, we all know how iconic the bosses were. I still remember the egg boss in the first level with the flower head, and that rock dude by Boo's Mansion. And those are just the tip of the iceberg for Nintendo bosses. But ladies and gentlemen, today, I'm firmly here to show you Nintendo's newly released Splatoon 3 DLC side order. And I'm happy to announce that they have released their best boss ever. Now, there are multiple bosses in the DLC, but I will give you a hint. It's the one that goes like, you know, like the roly-poly one. Its official name is Pinging Marciali. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And the gelatin that is contained within a metal sphere, and you try to aim for the face. There are 3 reasons why I believe this is the best boss ever in video game history. And no, I'm not exaggerating. And you don't have to agree with me. Honestly, I'm probably wrong. But it's definitely my favorite. But here are my 3 reasons. Number 1, it keeps you progressing through the entire battle. There's a constant pacing that's never bothered. Some boss battles feel very linear. You know, like Mario Odyssey is a perfect example of this. Even though I was just praising it earlier. That fight with Bowser halfway through the game was so boring because, and this happens with most bosses, but there's a clear pattern of progression for beating a boss. It usually goes like this. You start fighting a boss, the boss swings at you until he gets tired, then you swing back. Boom, that's it. And once you hit him, then that's it. Like, that's the whole formula. You know, for the next 2 times, it's just going to be the same moves against you. And it's just the same amount of waiting for his next moment of weakness. It's just the only difference is it's just going to be a little bit harder. But Splatoon 3's boss is not like this. In fact, for the entire fight, you're supposed to be targeting towards this boss. There's no waiting around. You're constantly moving around, keeping up with him, trying to defeat him. The key point here is that for the entire fight, you're able to shoot at it as you please to damage it. But just having this aspect by itself doesn't make the boss great. It's the second reason, the layers that this boss fight has. You're placed in the middle of a field, 1 bumper in the middle and 4 in the corners of the squarish field. If you want to hurry the fight, then you can shoot the boss to push it towards the bumpers, causing its weak spot to dramatically increase. Well, this comes with a price. It makes the fight more difficult by spawning enemies. And it can damage you by releasing a sound wave. Now that you have a wider weak spot, you must now get through all the chaos preventing you from totally shooting at the boss. And that is truly the beauty of this fight. Every single battle played with this thing has been different. It's hard to predict where it bounces off to, and I'm so unsure if I'm able to direct it correctly to the bumper. The gelatins this boss releases when weak and overpowers me sometimes as well. There's so many different gears turning for this fight that's incredibly hard to not get bored when facing this thing. For my 3rd and final reason, I gotta give it a creativity. I mean, look at this thing, man. Would you seriously consider it to be the menace it actually is? Turning a pinball machine into a boss is one of the best decisions ever made. Thank you, Nintendo.